Hello, everybody. How are you? I know I haven't been live in forever, and I'm really sorry because I will admit I feel rusty right now. I'm going through my shared tabs and shared audios, and I'm like, which one do I click again? So bear with me. How is everybody? I really want to know. I miss all of you. Some of you do know why I haven't been live, some of you don't. Some of you don't care. but I have been busy with life, and in our family we're expecting a new little baby, so I've been kind of sick with all the new baby stuff. um, it's kind of going away, so I hope to be getting a better schedule for you guys really soon. I feel better every day. I do have down days, but it seems like it's going away, and we are past the mark where it's safe to tell people that I'm with child, so I feel okay saying all that stuff too now. Um, I did mention that I will be sharing a little bit, but I will try not to share too much because it is my family's choice to not be on the internet. It's my choice to be on the internet. So I will always try to keep it separate. I don't want to try to pretend like this is going to be your guys' baby and I'll be uploading ultrasounds and stuff. Although, if we do become close friends, which I have with a lot of my subs, we do exchange messages, and a lot of them knew way beforehand that I was expecting, and some of them know the assumed gender as well. So that, with that being said, it's not a complete secret. I just want to keep it off of my channel as much as I can. So Holistic says, I'm new. What is this? Hi, Holistic. My name is Amanda S. Vida. I have a YouTube channel that's mostly true crime based, and I just hadn't been live in a while. Although I extensively covered the Gabby Petito case, I had been taking a little bit of a breather. There also wasn't many big updates, but this update is definitely one worth going live about, even with a house full of Thanksgiving guests. So with that being said, I will get into today's topic. I will say hi to everybody as I go, but hey guys. So I'm sure you guys all saw Brian Laundrie. Now we know that he committed suicide. I said that way before, and I got corrected by people. Well, we don't know. And for some reason, I have a lot of gut instincts. They're not all right. But that one was like, I definitely feel like Brian killed himself. And when his parents said that he was feeling grief, I thought, okay, yeah, he went and killed himself. He couldn't deal with it, because as much as we want to make him out to be a monster, I really think that he accidentally killed Gabby, didn't mean to, wasn't premeditated, and he felt guilt, and he couldn't handle the outcome of Gabby's parents looking for him and the cops and stuff. And well, we now know he went out to the woods and he unalived himself. With that being said, all the questions arise. First of all, we're just going to step into the dirty business with people not believing that it was him, because initially they had only done the dental, they had only verified him by dental records. But what a lot of people didn't understand is they didn't just have his dental records, they had his jaw. So it's not like they could have just accidentally used somebody else's teeth to verify that it was him. It was really him. They literally had his mandible. I'm pretty sure it was his mandible. So with that being said, we knew this was Brian, but there was no DNA test results that we had heard of. There were some initial papers, like false newspapers, saying that Brian's DNA hadn't been found in the bones, but I think that was just misinterpreted because we didn't hear any results actually from the FBI about that. So now we know that there probably still isn't DNA that is going to come back to Brian, but a lot of people will tell you, a lot of professionals will tell you that this is kind of normal. Bones in that condition, because of the area, because of the type of weather that they were in, they could be void of DNA. Now, I'm sure if they keep working on it, they'll find some, but I believe it. I believe that there was no DNA. I believe that there could be no DNA left in the scattered bones that they found. So now we know that Brian killed himself. We don't know how many days he actually lasted out in the reserve, but I know that it was probably soon. I have that feeling that it was probably soon, and now I know why the parents knew where he was. He went to a special spot, and it was going to be right there where that swing is, where they found him, because I don't know if you guys saw that. They were able to connect the area where they found him with the area where that swing was with his nephew. I'll pull up the picture in a little bit. I actually forgot to do that. But so they knew he was going to go to a special spot, and they knew he was going to do it there. That's why they were able to find him right away. So if he did do it there, he fell to the ground, water rose, even if it was only for a little bit. Water rose, he decomposed, and when the water level fell, he got scattered. And then also, with animal life, they will, they work on the body. They'll take it apart, and they'll take the bones apart, and they'll take them with them. But now we're going to get into the sticky business. What about the gun? Like, did they find the gun and then just not tell us? That's what I'm going to go ahead and guess. I really think that, I really, really, really think that the gun was found and that they didn't tell us, because there have been people searching there over and over and over again, like all the TikTokers. And there's one lady that's literally an older lady. She's going through the Maihatchee Creek and like seriously like combing over it. She wants to find the rest of his bones, is what she's saying. So I really believe that they found the gun and they just haven't told us. When they approached his parents out on that one road, and we had the picture of his parents being told, or what we assume was when they were telling them that they found Brian, I had actually enhanced that audio, and you could hear them say, is this clothes similar to what he was wearing? And the mom says yes. So they found stuff, and they didn't tell us everything. They just told us that they found his scattered bones, but they didn't say we found his clothes. They did say they found the notebook, which I'm hearing is salvageable. So we might get a little bit of a confession. I'm thinking we might get a suicide note now, if available, if the dry bag wasn't completely torn as we saw. So I'm just curious to see how much his parents knew. Who did the gun belong to? Was it the gun we always assumed? And, we had heard that when he went out there, that there was a gun missing, but it was a rumor. It can never be verified. I'm starting to believe that was true, that his parents actually knew he went out there with the gun. And that's why they knew exactly where to find him. And I wonder if he even told them, was that whole camping trip with Cassie really a, like a goodbye? Like, did they go have s'mores and camping trips to say their farewells? Because they're saying they knew he was in grief. Although we see him in pictures there, like, was it like a last hurrah? And I know it sounds sick, but I'm being honest. I'm being really honest. His parents, their silence speaks volumes. People want to say they're not guilty because they're silent. Well, absolutely. They're not guilty because they're silent. But their silence really shows that they have something to hide to me. And it may not constitute guilt. Oh. Spam call. Nobody ever calls me. Let me turn that off. But yeah, so I really think that his parents knew. Honestly, I think that the Laundries knew. And one thing that I want to make sure that I bring in is Gabby. I don't want to forget about Gabby in this whole mess. I really think that this all happened because Brian and Gabby were traveling. They were getting frustrated with one another. And Brian couldn't handle himself. Brian couldn't handle the fact that he and Gabby may break up. I know this is just an assumption on my behalf, but I believe this in all sincerity. I believe that with Gabby leaving him, she was going to take the van. And they probably put an equal amount of money into fixing the van. When we go on his Instagram, it says my van build. Like, definitely was a little bit of both of their vans. So with her, if she would have left him, the van life would be over. His outdoor life would be over. He'd have to go back to Florida. So I'm thinking that, with that being said, being out there, being stuck with one another in the midst of a breakup and makeup, in the midst of having, I'm sure they were having mental issues, just traveling with each other, being tight on money, stuff like that. We know that Gabby obviously had credit, so maybe that's why the van was in her name, but they probably put equal amount of money into it, so he felt like, this is my van too. Like, there's moments where we feel that Brian took over the van, like if it was his. Remember, we've kind of discovered that when she was in the tent. She was saying that the night before it was raining and the tent was coming in, and she was having to hold it with both sides of her, with both of her arms. And when you think about it, you're like, so where was Brian? That meant that Brian wasn't with her in the tent. So was he in the van? And then we've obviously seen the body cam videos from Moab where he's trying to leave Gabby. He's giving her backpack, what we assume is her skateboard, because the skateboard's right at the entrance when they open the door, and telling her like to go. He hung her backpack on the outside. He was going to take the van. So he obviously felt some type of connection to that van. Gabby and him breaking up was definitely going to end all of that. And I think he lost control. It was an accident, snowballed out of control, and he strangled her. I do believe that he beat her. I know that John Walsh had said that, and people said, well, how do we know that he was privy to that information? I honestly believe that John Walsh was privy to that information. And then alongside with manual strangulation, I think he did beat her. And I think he actually felt guilt. And I think that's why he ran back home scared and tried to find a solution, try to get a lawyer, and then his guilt overrode him. He couldn't deal with it because obviously he has no control. He had no control. But now we know for sure Brian committed suicide, and there is probably a gun somewhere in evidence that they haven't told us about yet. With Florida being the way it is with their laws and how their Freedom of Information Act works, we should be getting it all. So I'm excited for all of that. One thing that I had wanted to go live over last week was her parents did another interview with Brian Enton. It was really good. Not Brian Enton. What's his name? JB. And when they went live, I watched it, and there was just one part that stuck out to me because her parents, they feel like they've been robbed of basically everything. They've been robbed of their daughter. They've been robbed of their future memories. And now they've been robbed of some sort of justice. So this is what they were saying when he was asking them, like, going forward, what would be the justice for Gabby? So let me see, and let me know how you guys feel with sound over there when I play it.
Australia, people from Asia, Africa that know your daughter's name just because the year is 2021 and we can access people in the palm of their hands so quickly. But when we read comments, and Joe, I'd like to start with you. The number one hashtag that I see is justice for Gabby. We see that all the time. We've seen it on signage. We've seen it on banner planes flying around Northport, Florida with justice for Gabby on it. We have seen it on your website, on the Gabby Petito Foundation's website with the Justice for Gabby bracelet. People have been asking over and over again, what actually is justice for Gabby? And I'd like to give you the opportunity in your words to describe what justice for Gabby means to you and to Tara.
Well, if we can save just one person, that would be justice. Just going forward, if we could, that's really what we would like to do, just save or help her story get out there so people know, that we care.
Yeah. So right now, the statistics show 1 in 3 women are victims of domestic violence or have been victims of domestic violence. And 1 in 4, 1 in 5 men, are victims of domestic violence. If we can extend those numbers from 1 in 3 to 1 in 4, and then 1 to 5, then 1 in 6, if we can extend that number, keep pushing that, so it's not as prevalent in terms of domestic violence anymore, that would be justice for Gabby. Making that change to help others. So, respecting everyone, regardless of the gender, that would be justice for Gabby.
Nicole, what does justice for Gabby mean to you?
For me, it means preventing this from happening to someone else. If we can try and make that change, that's what we're trying to do here. And that's justice for me. It's helping others.
I think that's interesting because a lot of folks, when they use justice for Gabby or they hear justice for Gabby, I think that their mind is very much in the present as far as what happened to your daughter. And what you're saying, Nicole, is that you're very much, when you hear those 3 words, justice for Gabby, you're thinking ahead. You're not thinking you're not looking in the rearview mirror. You're not looking backwards or even in the present. You're looking ahead as to how you can make the world a better place. Is that right as far as what Justice for Gabby means to you?
100%. It's about the changes that we can make. We can't change the past, but we can change the future.
Let's talk a little bit about the Gabby Petito Foundation with our first question. Lou, I did not want to leave you hanging. As we do, we try to get to as many comments as we can using hashtag AJB on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube here interactively on WFLA Now. And Lou on YouTube, hashtag AJB, would Gabby's parents ever consider organizing a fundraising event for Gabby's foundation? I think we'd love to help and show our support for her and what you guys are doing. I know through various text messages that we've all shared, you guys, that you've talked about different ways that you're going to really use the Gabby Petito Foundation for good. But clearly out there, Joe, there's been a lot of people that want to step up and help the foundation. Can you just...
I don't know if I want to go into the foundation just yet, just because I haven't thoroughly gone through and checked it out. So I don't even know what it all entails. I do know that they're aiming it towards helping domestic violence victims get out of situations much like the one that Gabby was in. But aside from that, I will admit that although I have downloaded, that although I have donated and I have my, I also got the Justice for Gabby. I got the rubber band, and I got the metal one, which is actually extremely beautiful. I'll probably be doing a giveaway when I get full-fledged again, just to give a few people away the Gabby Petito Foundation bracelets when I do lives about her, maybe 2 or 3 of them. They're so gorgeous. The black ones, they say Justice for Gabby. My husband's even worn it. It feels very meaningful. It does. And I hope people ask me questions about it. Nobody has. But I hope one day somebody asks me while I'm wearing it, who Gabby is. For some reason, this case really did enthrall me. Gabby being missing really did bug me, and I really wanted to find her when we thought she could be alive, and when we found out that she wasn't alive, that was awful. And then thinking that Brian was on the run just was such an emotional pull. I really got drawn in, and that's kind of why not another reason why I've stepped back. I've definitely stepped back because of the pregnancy, but I haven't felt that pulled in by anything else since. And I kind of feel like, I don't know, like I lost a little bit of the spark, but I know it's not gone. I felt such an intensity to cover Gabby's case. And I don't also want to overdo it and just cover everything that happens when there hasn't been much happening. I only want to go live or make videos when I think it's super important. I think when people over upload, it can also mess it up a little bit too. You think that they're not so serious. And I do want people to think that when I go live, I have something to talk about. I don't just want to make stuff up. And sometimes I will be live for like 30 minutes and I'm like, okay, I'm done. Bye. Because that's all I have to say. And I don't want to just drag it on for any reason. Like, I don't want to pretend like I'm giving you more than what you already know. Whatever I told you guys already, you guys already knew this. I'm not going to pretend like you guys don't follow these cases just as closely as I do. But this is also an important topic to cover no matter what. What happened to Gabby is absolutely devastating. Somebody says domestic violence won't stop till the lawmakers change it. And this is why people are talking. We need change. We know what happened in Moab should have stopped what happened to Gabby in the long run. And I know it's really hard to put it on those officers, but I really think that they could have done more. I really think that they could have curbed this event at least enough for Gabby to get actual help from her mom. I really think that her messages to her mom about Stan, I really think that she knew that it was send the authorities now. I do. And that she was just lucky enough that it was her grandpa's name. She obviously had access to the internet, so she could have looked it up. Also, Gabby was really into TikTok. TikTok had before Gabby even went missing and passed away. There was a lot of domestic violence things on there already, like how to find awareness. And I know when I spend hours on TikTok, I learn a thing or two, as well as other silly things. But they were hyper vigilant on TikTok about it, and I think Gabby may have seen it there. I also think that when people say she was giving the hand gestures in the car, it's not too far fetched. I really do see her doing it. Did she necessarily mean it? I don't know, but her hand really does do that gesture of finger under the thumb kind of thing, or at least I see it. Yes, it wasn't handled the best. And we do know that they told her to call her parents, but her parents are saying she never called. So, which was it? Did she not call them? I don't think she did. If, I think they may have known about it afterwards or known something went on afterwards, but how much did they know? We can't be too sure. Even, especially if they've been so truthful or so open and they're saying that they didn't know. I'm going to go ahead and believe them over anything else. Really excited though that we do have, I guess excited is the wrong word, or it could be taken wrong, but to me it brings me elation to know that Brian did kill himself, and that we know that he killed himself. And the reason it makes me feel some type of way is because you still have people saying, who killed Gabby? I'm still curious about who killed Gabby. Some of us want to laugh, like, come on, like, of course it was Brian. But now we know that he felt some sort of guilt. Ending his life and with a gunshot wound to the head, that is definitely an indication of some type of guilt that something happened to Gabby and that he was there when it happened. And I feel like that may actually, the reason I'm excited is I feel like that may actually give me more of a grip when I'm able to, or, when I'm arguing with people about who actually killed her, because they still ask, how do we know? How do we know that he killed her? Well, I think that's a pretty good indication that he did. I don't know. What do you guys think about that one? That's what you take away from it too. Yeah, for sure. And also we saw, we saw that the police in Moab, the chief of police actually stepped down. And that's because he knew that they knew he didn't have enough training, or he lacked it because he didn't pass it off to his crew. And there really needs to be something done, because where they were supposed to have arrested somebody, especially when there was a domestic violence incident where somebody actually assaulted another one. Somebody should have been arrested instead of just one housed and one sent away. That was almost, that was almost too easy. And as sad as it is, even when we saw the first body cam, I don't know if you guys remember, when we saw the first body cam, it felt bad. It felt like I felt like I was doing Gabby injustice because of how the first one went down. It almost made her look like the full-blown aggressor, and we didn't know where she was at the time. So I believe, we didn't know where she was at the time. So it was like, oh, maybe she did run away or something like that. Like, I don't know. With that being said, once the second one came out, I was able to fully, take in the whole thing and say, oh no, they really did mess up. And whatever they cut out during the first one, they were definitely trying to hide what they did. Like, their inconsistencies that they had in the second one, and the stuff that they won't show us. That's sad too. No, they have not found who killed Kylene and Crystal. They haven't. And I don't know if that has anything to do with Brian, but it very well could be. If a gun was involved, it could be linked, but we really don't know. Yeah, they have not been solved. Crazy Crime Chick is probably still working on that case. She was doing a longer video, I believe, like a documentary style, before she got sick. I don't know how many of you knew that Crazy Crime Chick got very sick with COVID, and by the grace of God, she is better, and she's only getting better every day, but she's in here right now. So thank you for being her crazy, and I'm so glad you're better. It was so worrisome. I was really, really, really scared for you. Yes, it does. It does. And that's one subject that's definitely overlooked. It's kind of like something that they've always overlooked, like especially when they say they send women to finishing school and stuff like that. Toxic masculinity or just domestic abuse in relationships is hardly ever touched. At least I didn't learn it in school, and not even in college. Something I just had to learn by experiencing. Yeah, I'm so happy she's getting better. Imagine if they tie in his gun with the other murders. That would be crazy, Sky. Hey, what's going on? Let's see. They did put all the blame on Gabby in that first video, and it made me feel uncomfortable, frankly, when I first watched it with you guys, because I don't know if you remember that I watched it with you guys for the first time, and it made me feel extremely uncomfortable, and it made her look like the aggressor. It was so sad. Emotional and physical abuse should definitely be taught in schools like sex education. Yeah, and maybe some classes need to be taken out so they can add these in, because not only is it going to happen in your adulthood, it already happens in high school. There's some people that are already being abused by their boyfriend or girlfriend in high school, and they're confusing it with puppy love or just affection. We tried crazy. I just didn't want to bug you too much. It's a scary thing. Everybody still needs to take care of themselves. It's still out there. And a lot of people feel this way, Karen. A lot of people feel that he killed the women in Moab, and they've linked them to being in the same bar, and they were obviously at the same cafe that day, and they were there all day. Ooh, sorry. Brian and Gabby were there all day long, and that's when one of them was working there. Obviously, she got off before the incident with them happened, but they were living in their van, so they probably hung out in the parking lots of places a lot, especially if they were using Wi-Fi. So the chances of them having, come across each other is actually kind of big, especially when they're van lifers. They kind of, they link up. They know one another. They can spot each other out. So the likelihood that they met is very big, and I believe that. But did he kill them? I don't know. I really did think that it was very coincidental. It's a very big coincidence. But, hopefully they have some DNA in that case to eventually either rule him out or rule him in. Also, the gun. What kind of gun did he have? I forgot while I was playing that video, somebody had mentioned that the bag that he had a big hole, a big black thing in it. I saw that too. Definitely could have been a gun. If they find out, if they have the gun, will the bullets match the ones that were found in the women in Moab? I don't know. I really don't. But I have questions. That is it's very strange, especially now that there is a gun involved 100%. I still almost can't believe that this is it. Like, Brian killed himself with a gun. That was, I almost want to tap the button for him. Like, that was easy. You could have made a much harder decision, but everybody would still be here alive. He seemed like such a brat. That's what I feel is the end case of all this, especially the way he handled it afterwards, going home, lawyering up, not answering her parents, and then going off and killing himself. I really think that he was just, it wasn't if it was his way or the highway, and he didn't want to get caught. He also didn't want to face the music at all. That's also going to be an interesting thing to find out, if that gun in Fort DeSoto was from him. Or belong to them or something. I don't know. For some reason, I don't think there's a connection. I think that was just pure coincidence, but nothing's coincidence, and maybe his parents did throw it out there. Who knows? What? Oh, yeah, I think D, if you're talking about the Moab, I personally don't feel Brian killed those two ladies. It was more of a hate crime, and Gabby's is a crime of passion, but you could be wrong. That's kind of how I feel, but we really don't know. Oh no. Why? What happened? Just to listen? Get on the road and go home. Bye, Crazy. Thank you for being here. Thanks for holding it down. I really appreciate you stopping by. And I will text you later. Yeah, he shot himself. And now we know that that's kind of what his skull indicated, that he shot himself in the head. It's kind of crazy. It's actually insane. Is his dad, or can his dad be charged with anything? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they can. I really don't think they will be. I think that we would have known by now if his parents would be indicted for anything at all. We don't know where the costs are going to go now, like the cost to find Brian. I wonder if they're just going to eat it up since they already used the resources for it. And also they have nobody to prosecute. I don't think they're going to prosecute his parents for it. Oh, I hope he's okay. I know we talked earlier, but he didn't say he was in the hospital. DeSoto, was Brian 20 miles away and frantically wanting a high home? I don't understand. But DeSoto is far away from the park where he was found. So it would be impossible for him to have killed himself and then taken it over there. But we don't know if somebody else that may have known where he was may have done it for him. We don't know. Hey, BG, what's going on? How are you? Everyone's telling you bye, crazy, if you're still listening. So, yes, so insane about freaking Brian. And one thing that I really think is important to point out is that he really probably could have done it because he felt bad. He couldn't handle it. And, you know, I'm not going to take that away from him. But at the same time, I'm just like, well, you shouldn't have done it anyway. But he probably did feel bad about doing it. And it's a little too late for all that. But still, he probably did feel guilty about it. He did want to marry her at some point. But then also, he left her in the woods and then used her car to get back home because he knew that she was already dead. It's freaking ridiculous. All right, so I'm going to play JB's version of what happened today. Those, let's see. This was his account, just so you guys can hear from a professional as well. Real quick.
Here's the document put out moments ago from the District 12 Medical Examiner's Office. Detailing that the cause of death is determined to be a gunshot wound of the head. For 23-year-old Brian Laundrie, the manner of death has been determined to be a suicide. Hey there, everybody. JB Buno here with you live on WFLA Now. Live only on YouTube, WFLA.com, the WFLA app. We're working on potentially getting another Facebook stream organized for our Facebook audience here momentarily. But this is the release that was just sent out. And like clockwork, right at 3 o'clock Eastern time, the Medical Examiner's Office, District 12, that's primarily Sarasota. That's the Medical Examiner's Office that we have been calling repeatedly over the last several weeks, especially trying to get an update. This document has been put out. It was sent over our way by law enforcement. And I'm going to read it as follows for our audience that's might be on a cell phone. It's kind of hard to see when it's in the palm of your hand, but I'll read as follows. November 23rd, 2021, on the death of Brian C. Laundrie. The District 12 Medical Examiner's Office has completed our investigation into the death of Brian C. Laundrie. The investigation included the following: scene response by medical examiner personnel, complete examination of the recovered skeletal remains, consultation with a forensic ontologist, including dental comparison for identification, consultation with a forensic anthropologist, including skeletal reconstruction, confirmation of the identity of the remains by both dental comparison and DNA analysis. The cause of death has been determined to be gunshot wound to the head. The manner of death has been determined to be suicide. Complete signed reports will be on file at the District 12 Medical Examiner's Office in accordance with Florida statutes and at the request of the FBI. These reports and other information pertaining to the medical examiner's investigation of Mr. Laundrie's death may not be made public or released until the law enforcement investigation is complete. That last paragraph, what that says is, what that translates to is, this is what we have for the time being, and anything else that would get released, any information uncovered by the medical examiner's office, that's not going to be released by them. It's going to be released, or if it is released by them, it's not going to be until the FBI concludes their ongoing investigation. So scene response, complete examination, ontologist, anthropologist, odontologist is the correct pronunciation, anthropologist, confirmation of the identity of the remains by both dental comparison and DNA analysis. People were asking in our previous stream about DNA analysis. We're going to try to get up on stream with more of our WFLA staff momentarily as soon as we have more information. Here's the document.
So there's a few people asking, well, not a few, I saw two, how it could be, how do we know that it was self-inflicted? Well, they're calling the manner of death suicide. I initially, when I first searched it up, the first one I saw said homicide, and I was like, wait, what? And then I don't know if they fixed it or if that was just a misprint, because it was actually on a news network, but it is saying that it was suicide. How they determined that, it was probably the proximity of the gun to the head, or maybe because it was through the mouth. We don't know just yet. That's also probably why there was only remnants of his skull, and that's what I had said too initially, that maybe because he shot himself, there was going to be pieces of his skull broken apart. I really do hope we get answers. And the way Florida is with their information, we're going to be getting a lot of paperwork. When? I'm not sure. I'm surprised it hasn't come out already. But, for right now, they're kind of keeping it close to the chest. I'm really interested to find out as well what in all they have to say, like pertaining to what's in the phones and stuff like that. Like, are they going to tell us all that? I'm so curious. I really want to know. So I'm going to, here you go. I want to play a video real quick. This is my own video. And I had enhanced the audio of his parents finding out about him being in the woods, or what we thought it was. And you could hear him ask her if it was the clothes, if it was similar to his clothes, because I'm guessing that they're not telling us everything they found. So this is just really quick. Well, I guess I would have to have pulled up the video for you guys to see. I had just warned you guys at the very beginning that I'm still a little bit rusty. So I guess I would have to have pulled up the video for you. So I went to go watch my own video to see if you guys could hear it, because for some reason I felt that you couldn't. And of course, here we go. All right. So it's going to be at the beginning of this video. It's not very long.
Say that they.
All right.
Hey guys, welcome back. So I got this clip and I made it a little bit louder so you could hear. And I think you'd hear them say that they found some of Brian's clothes. What do you think?
Brian Laundrie in Florida.
His remains positively identified today, and now tonight, a new revelation about the last time Brian's parents saw their son.
Around 5:30 Thursday evening, police arrived at the home of Chris and Roberta Laundrie to inform them their son Brian's remains had been positively identified.
His parents were a
I think you'd hear them say that they found some of Brian's clothes. What do you think?
I can hear it a lot clearer now. But they ask her, was it consistent with what he was wearing? And she shakes her head, yes. So with that being said, that was just my proof back then that they did find his stuff, or that it was his body initially, that they found his clothes with it, and that it wasn't just somebody else's mandible sitting out there that they were saying was Brian Laundrie, because a lot of people did believe that. But I want to go ahead and say that this was my little proof that, his parents knew that it was his clothes out there, and that the police knew it was his clothes out there. So therefore, there could be more stuff out there that they didn't tell us, like a gun. And they could have, I don't think it would have been in that wet bag. They definitely would have taken it away right away, but we don't know. We really don't freaking know. Hopefully they read what the notepad says, if anything. Yeah, I really hope that it's salvageable. I really want to make sure that we get at least maybe his suicide note. I really want to see if it's in there. Really interested to find out, just morbidly curious at what he actually made his reasoning out to be. I know somebody said above, what a great guy, murder than suicide. Exactly. What a little, I'll just say it, what a little coward. Sorry, Brian, but what a little coward. You're just going to kill your girlfriend, not give anybody any answers, not even tell them where she is, and then go and kill yourself, letting her essentially just rot. What an asshole. Sorry. If only those birds would shut up. You know what? I've had a problem with birds this year, just getting in the way. It's almost like that damn tree in the Watts case. Game On. Hey, Game On, what's going on? Hey, everyone. Have they processed the notebook? Oh, yeah, that's what we're just talking about. So they're saying that it may be salvageable, or that they probably have salvaged it. Like I said, they haven't given us too much evidence, too many evidence drops in this case. And in Florida, the way that they have their Freedom of Information Act, it's the Sunshine Law, they normally give everything up. So they're keeping a little bit close to the chest. I don't know if it's because it's an ongoing investigation still. But I'm definitely curious to find out what they found in that notebook. And if all goes well with how they release it to us, we should be even seeing pictures of it. Like whatever pictures the police took, we'll be seeing them. So hopefully at some point we get to see them. Yeah. Well, we don't know if they were his socks. Olivia and what's his name? Not Doug. JBL. They found what appeared to be Gabby Potato's water bottle, and then there was socks right next to it. Were they his socks? I thought they were, but we don't know for sure. Hey, how are you? Florida seems like a great state. Was that sarcastic? Obviously, Brian couldn't afford an attorney, so his parents did that. I wonder today if they regret their actions. That's a very good question. But I think that was probably still their best choice. I think whatever he did, he would have done it already. That was to protect themselves, because why else would they have gotten the attorney for themselves? And also, I don't know if you remember that Bertolino, hey, Junie, I don't know if you remember that Bertolino had been caught up saying that he had talked to Brian and his parents on a press conference, or not press conference, like a three-way, and Ashley Banfield kind of caught him up in that and said, well, if you did talk to them all three together, we're privy to that information because it's not protected by your client attorney confidentiality. Wow, that was so hard. And he kind of didn't answer. I don't remember him giving a very good answer for it, but maybe he didn't feel like he had to cover for Brian anymore because he already knew Brian was gone. I think Bertolino may have been privy to the information as well. I really do. I mean, how many of you guys actually think that Brian's parents and his attorney may have already known that he had gone and unalived himself in the forest? I really do. I'm over here raising my hand like, yeah, I do. I really think that they knew. And I really think that that's why they had been warning for so long, and that's why they were staying quiet. Yeah, it's not privilege if somebody else is, if there's another party in there. All three parties would have totally thrown that out of the park. I believe they knew. I really do. See, I can't be the only one. I really think that they knew a lot more. Hey, Angelica, how are you? So, with that being said, I think that this is just going to be the beginning of me coming back. I'm sorry if it was extremely boring. I feel like I'm kind of just getting back in the rhythm. I will be doing a lot more lives, I promise, if you guys want them. And I'll be doing videos again, too. Like I said, I am feeling better. But with that being said, I am going to be very busy with normal life in the next month. We got Thanksgiving in a few days. I have a wedding on the 4th of December. My mom's birthday is in the middle of December. My dad's birthday is right before Christmas. My best friend's birthday is Christmas Eve. And then we have Christmas, New Year's, and then just throw in everything else. But I promise that I will be keeping a better schedule because I do actually miss the consistency of being live. I don't want to throw people off track and make them think that I'm just going to fall off and not come back. I promise that I'm here and I'm here for it. I'm constantly still going through, obviously, the news and cases, and people send me stuff. So, I'm just kind of greasing my wheels over here, and I will be going full force again because I am a stay-at-home mom, basically. So I have the opportunity to work from home, to YouTube, and, get to be at home with my kids. So I'm not going to pretend like I don't have time to throw videos together or go live. I will make time for you guys, I promise, especially now that I'm kind of more so homebound because I'm pregnant again and I have 2 kids, and it's hard to get out of the house now. But this is the holiday season. I want all of you guys to enjoy your holidays. And if you are doing Thanksgiving dinner, don't let it get by. Get your turkey out right now. Make sure you pull it out so it's defrosted by Thanksgiving. I don't care who you are. You pull your turkey out today. I'm about to pull my turkey and my ham out, and I will start preparing everything. I'm going to Costco today. So you guys all know how that's going to go. I'm going to be one tired lady at the end of the day, but also very happy. Holidays are very important to me. Family is very important to me. And that's why I feel like you guys are important to me. You guys are my friends, and I'm really excited to continue. I'm really excited to continue going live and talking to you guys while I'm live. I feel like today I was kind of rusty, but it's all coming back to me. I will be here. Thank you, Angelica, for the congratulations. Junie, but being a mommy is hard work. I take care of it. Oh, yeah, for sure. That's why I've been taking my time off. I'm not going to pretend like I didn't need the time off. I definitely needed it to sleep and then, feel okay when I was actually feeling okay, and then not feeling pressured, because you do feel pressure when you come online, and you do feel pressure when you're live. You want to entertain people. You don't want just people to feel left out of the conversation. Hey, Tanya. And also you want to be inclusive with how everybody's feeling, because I have some people that are rejecting what I'm saying. So I want to go ahead and include that, because I don't just want this to be an echo chamber of what I said, and what you're saying is not true. Let Costco do all the work. Honestly, I buy my pies. I will admit that. I make everything else from scratch, but I buy my pies. And I don't know if that means I don't make Thanksgiving from scratch, but I don't know. I'll let Costco do the work there. Thank you guys for all the blessings about the baby. I'm really excited. And I will be telling you guys as soon as we find out what the gender is. I'll make sure to let you guys know. Right now I have a preliminary, what we think it may be, because I did like an at-home blood test, but I also don't want to just divulge that in case I made a faux pas on my behalf and then it's wrong. I don't want to have to explain to a million people like, oh yeah, it's not that gender after all. So with that being said, I will let you guys all go. Thank you for being here. I miss you guys all so much, and I'm happy that a lot of you guys were in here, my people. I really miss you so much, and that's it. Remember, be better, not bitter. I will go live before Thanksgiving, but if I don't see you until then, or if I don't see you until after then, happy Thanksgiving, and I hope you guys all enjoy your families. And then if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving right now, because I know Canadians did Thanksgiving a long time ago, just, I hope you enjoyed it back then. I'll see you guys all around, and have a good one. Bye.